YouTube, hello, how are you doing? Hopefully you guys can hear me. This is the first time I'm kind of testing this intro out. It was pretty loud where I tried to record it last time, but hopefully it's not as loud over here back in this area now. So in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about the narratives that are going on in the community as far as false pretenses on car reviews, and how, pretty much in a nutshell, how we are swaying the community in certain directions based off of little nitpicks here and there, but something that I believe that it's just getting overblown, and it's not necessarily a deal breaker for the general public, but some YouTubers make it seem like it is a deal breaker. And I just want to elaborate on some of these things and hold people who do the same stuff that I'm doing to you right now, which is talking about cars and putting it on YouTube, hold them accountable for what they say or what we say in general, because who knows, I could be at fault too, right? So hold us as a community accountable for what we say and how we do things, and as far as different ways we can go about educating the community and the masses as a whole for our fellow enthusiasts and who are new enthusiasts that are getting into the craft. So without further ado, here's the video. Like I said, guys, I mean, we got to stop the false narratives about the car community in general, because we have a lot of persuasion, and I think that if we can kind of fix how we present our reviews and our opinions about vehicles, it would definitely help the community a little bit, just based off of the things that we say, because they do hold a lot of weight. And a few things, one of the things that really kind of irks me a little bit and how we say things is that when you're watching a review, you're in the market for a vehicle, you're watching a review, and I'll go to a prime example of what I hear. It's like a couple of years ago when I was looking for cars, right? Rev matching, I'll keep this enthusiast based because that's the type of community that I have. Rev matching used to be frowned upon, and now, when a car doesn't have rev matching, example, the car I'm driving now, it's a downgrade, which to me doesn't really make any sense, because 2 years ago you were saying rev matching is it's a feature, I want to roll my own gears and downshift myself, to now it's like this car doesn't have rev matching. Now people are saying it, like big YouTubers are saying this, and now you are swaying the community into, if a car doesn't have rev matching, I don't want to drive it. I don't want to drive a manual without rev matching. And that is probably one of the worst things you can do, in my opinion, just due to the fact that, rev matching is cool, and I think it holds value somewhat. But let me explain. If you're on a track, and you're trying to get like a really good lap time, rev matching is a hell of a feature to have. I'm just telling you from experience. Rev matching is great because that'll be one less thing you got to do. It's natural, right? Like, it's something that you don't have to worry about while you're going over 100 miles an hour. But if I'm being honest, most people who get cars like we get are enthusiasts. 9 times out of 10, most of them aren't really going to the track as much. So why, when you review the vehicle, would you talk about rev matching as if it needs to be done? It needs to have, it needs to be a feature. That doesn't make any sense to me, because 2 years ago you were saying that it's a gimmick or whatever, and they, I wish I can cut it off. But now you as in the big YouTuber or YouTuber in general are saying that rev matching is bad. You have to understand that so many people are watching these videos, are looking at these cars, they're shopping for these cars. You literally just, put it in the consumer's head that since it doesn't have rev matching, I shouldn't get the car. When now you're depriving them of a hell of an experience on a vehicle. So let's just go over the cars that don't have rev matching right now, that you would, as the average consumer, would not get because it doesn't have this feature. The Mazda Miata, and that's any generation, which is probably, if you haven't driven one, you better go drive one, because again, you will be depriving yourself of probably the funnest car you would ever drive, and it's one of the cheapest. So you wouldn't buy it because it doesn't have rev matching. So these are cars that you are automatically getting yourself out of. This car that I'm driving, the WRX, doesn't have rev matching. One of the funnest cars, and reliable, I'm throwing that out there, and reliable, that you can get. Let's see, what else out there does not have rev matching? I know the Elantra N does. The Civic, no, the Civic Si does have rev matching now. The Integra does too. So yeah, oh, the GR86, which if you did want rev matching, the only way you can get it in the 86 is to get a tune. So, you know, if you're buying and most people aren't gonna just jump up and tune an 86. So you basically take those off your list. You're not gonna get those cars because they don't have rev matching. So, you know, think about it. Like, you just screwed yourself over, or you just screwed your viewers over on getting really, really great cars. And for what? For, you know, you saying that your opinion is that rev matching is good now and it should be required in every car. That is so far off base that honestly it doesn't even make any sense to say that. Like, I would say, like, okay, rev matching is good, it has a place, but I know my audience, and most of them aren't really going to track the car. They just want something fun. I will say, in my opinion, now, if I've said this before, you know, about rev matching, then so be it. I need to change it as well. I don't mind, you know, trying to improve my content and remembering what I'm saying, or you holding me accountable as the viewer, saying that, hey, you said rev matching should be in this car. Like, no, it shouldn't be, and I'll change that if I have to. But I believe that I do believe that I've never said anything like that. But, you know, like I said, 2025, we need to change that narrative that certain features that need to be in cars are deal breakers, basically. So that's one major one that kind of bothered me over the last few months. And then two, the craziest one, I think, is like the more power thing. In all honesty, we just need to stop with the more power. This car needs more power, that car needs more power. Now, granted, you can get it. You can get the power in these cars, but you don't need the power. And again, you just priced yourself out of another, you just, if you saying that a car, if you're doing a review on a car and you saying it needs more power, then now your consumer just priced him, he just completely wrote off the 86. Again, the Miata, the same super fun cars that the Veloster N, the 2020 and up, I guess, the newer one, they priced themselves out of those cars. The GTI, the Civic Si, which is a hell of a car still, even with 200 horsepower, the Integra, obviously, BRZ, those cars, right? Like, you just priced yourself. Now you're already looking into, you know, cars that are way more expensive, which would be, you know, $45,000 and you know, now you're just pricing yourself into cars that are way more expensive that you probably can't afford. And to me, that's just something that, you know, us as YouTubers need to not make those type of mistakes, because again, we have influence, and we have to use it the right way, in my opinion. Let me get in front of this guy. But you know, that again, that's just me. As far as like more power doesn't, you're putting a blanket statement on something that doesn't need to be there. What about weight? What about the transmission? You know what I mean? Like, again, let's go back to one of the greatest cars to drive today, which is the Miata, right? That transmission is so great, and for that chassis at face value. And don't let someone deter you away from a vehicle even though it's lacking a feature or two. This car is probably, that I'm sitting in now and I'm driving now, is probably one of the most bare bone cars that you can get to date, the most analog car that you can get to date. And to be honest, it's probably one of the most fun cars you can get. And that's just my opinion, but you won't know that because you'll hear a YouTuber say it doesn't have rev matching, and you won't buy it. So that's all I got, YouTube. And again, like I said, 2025, we need to do better. We need to encourage the research of vehicles rather than a car doesn't have power, or it doesn't have this feature or that feature. We need to encourage them, you know, everyone to do their homework and learn more about the car, learn more about tires and how they work with that car. And then also I would encourage more people to just start going to the track. If you are an enthusiast, you would not regret it. I'm not saying go as much as I do or any average YouTuber does, but just get it out there and just try to see what the car can really do. You would definitely have a way different opinion on what that car can do if you can get out there and, you know, drive it, you know, beyond the speed limits. So I think that's all I got. And again, Happy New Year's to all of you guys. Hope you guys had a great Christmas, and I hope your family's doing well. That's, you know, I'm blessed to be doing something like this and then just offering my opinion on vehicles and different things like that. So that's all I got. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.